Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing episode of FPP Live. So glad you're here. Just waiting for folks to come in. I'm sipping on a green OJ right now. Ready for this live. Hi Brittany. And here he is. Let me invite you. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to use Instagram, but I definitely do. So excited to chat with you, Anthony. Just trying to figure out how to add you to the live. Yeah. Hopefully. Just invited you. Hey!
Hi. I literally just said this. I was like, sometimes I don't know how to do this. And then you said it right afterwards.
I'm dying. Some days I'm really good at Instagram, and other days I'm like, did they change anything?
Oh, no, I'm a full chop.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you for making time for us
Oh
today.
my God, thank you. This is a really awesome organization. I was really excited to be a part of it in any way,
Oh,
shape, or form.
oh, we think so too. And it's good timing because this week we're doing a week-long theater intensive, performing arts intensive, really. So I'm glad you're here and we can talk about theater a little bit and
Cool.
art and artistic expression. So
Yeah.
we do workshops at the Future Perfect Project. For those of your people that are tuning in, we uplift the voices of queer youth through arts and arts programming and media. And the way we start all of our workshops is by saying our name, pronouns, where we are, and how we're feeling. So I'll go first, and then
Cool.
you'll, if you're
Yeah.
down. Okay, so I'm Emma, and she is feeling restorative
Ooh. Oh,
in Brooklyn. Kind of
in
annoying.
Brooklyn, go off. What'd you say?
That was kind of annoying of me, but whatever. What
I love it.
when okay.
Um, I'm Anthony. And Anthony, he is feeling a little under the weather, but in Los Angeles. So the sun is making it feel good. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. All feelings are welcome here always. So how do you identify on the LGBTQIA spectrum, and is queer a word you like?
Um, so I'm gay. I go with gay, but I would probably okay. I'd probably say I'm more pansexual, but I'm gay. I go with gay pretty regularly. And as far as the word queer, I've been thinking about this a lot. The word I don't know, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, if that's a question.
I just turned 25.
Okay, so I'm 32, and the word queer, I don't know if it's my generation or what, but that word feels like I feel like it's more of an umbrella term rather than a personal term. Um, like I can say like I am part of the queer culture. Queer is culture for me, but I definitely don't walk around saying like I'm a queer person. I definitely say I'm a gay person.
Got
Um, but queer is just I don't know if it's generational or if it's like I was reading through things in my journal recently, and there is a moment where we don't. I know we don't read Harry Potter anymore, but
you.
the word queer in like is British vernacular is like curious and all this stuff. And I remember as a kid asking my mom what that word meant, and her being really uncomfortable, and me not really understanding what that meant and or why she felt that way. And I think that that moment like kind of took that word and made it um, not as palpable for me or palatable for me rather.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, but
That's
I'm queer.
fair. It's a really affirming, euphoric word for some people, and of course it's not going to be that for everybody. Because yeah, as one of our commenters, Chris is saying, it was a
Oh,
slur for
Chris.
so.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, so I was like one of our viewers.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm so glad that I'm so glad for anybody that's found a label that makes them feel affirmed. Is the pansexual thing like a new realization, or because I feel like
No,
having to come out more than once, which I definitely have had to do.
yeah, I mean, like when I like first came out, I was definitely bisexual. And hey, Chris. And I knew that was more of like a security blanket for me to like get through getting to where I am as far as like really saying I'm a gay man. Um, the pansexual thing is more so because over the years I have definitely had attractions to women and have definitely had I've had relationships with women. I'm engaged to a man, so I'm definitely
Congratulations.
thank you. So definitely gay is what I'm going with, but I'm not ever going to say that it's not a possibility that I could fall in love with a woman. I don't think that. I think it's very much so about the person and how you feel with them. Yeah, yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
That when I was kind of going through what figuring out what word felt best for me, and I usually just say gay too, but queer also feels good. I was using pansexual for a while and even bought this bracelet that said like pan princess on it. And in our travel for work, when it started to feel less euphoric for me, there's one of the young people we met in Spartanburg, South Carolina, who was like, I'm pan, and I was like, take this bracelet. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's not me, it's you.
That's beautiful.
Kind of fun. But I love that. There's always going to be, I don't know, I see stories about like people changing their wardrobe if they're like, I don't really feel good in these femme clothes anymore. Does anybody want them? There's always going to be a queer person who's like, that's me. It's not you anymore, but that's
Yeah.
me. Which
Yeah.
I
I mean, like, there, I mean, I have a selection of, like, this is my femme experience. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, but I have definitely run around in a 6-inch stiletto and, like, a businessman suit and, like, been like, this is my day because it just felt, I don't know. I think the constructs of all of it is kind of nonsense because at the end of the day, I know so many people, women and men, that have self-described as straight for a very long time and have decided to change their word choice for themselves in so many different directions, whether it's like the gender or the sexuality or, I mean, yeah, as long as it's like honest and truthful for you, I think that's the only real rule. That's what it
yeah,
should be, I think. I don't know.
totally. When did you start to realize these things about yourself? Was it before or after the Harry Potter moment?
Ah, um, oh God, I don't remember like the first moment. I do remember, and Lizzie Pash, if you're here somewhere on this or you see this someday, I apologize. To this day, I was dating a girl in high school, and I was doing a musical at my high school, and I was doing the same musical at a like a local kids theater, playing two different roles. And in the one in the I was dating the girl in my high school, and the guy who played the coach in the musical in like the community theater, he like made a pass at me, and I never had a boy make a pass at me before, and it was the first time that someone made that feel like it wasn't bizarre or weird.
Totally.
And he was also the first person like I was ever emotionally or physically involved with that was of the same gender. And then from there was kind of I don't know. It took time of just, you're putting keys in different doors and trying to see what opens and makes sense.
Yes,
Um, yeah,
completely.
yeah,
That's such a I love that you said it like it didn't feel strange. Like this queer thing happened to you or gay thing happened to you or with you. And it didn't feel like you were being othered. It just was.
yeah. It definitely. I will say, it definitely did feel. You're 25, you said.
Hmm.
I'm always interested in the generational, what has happened over the generations, like behind mine, because the stuff in front of me, 32 and above, is such a weird time because it's a lot of secretive stuff and a lot of, you know, not really honoring yourself in any way, shape, or form. And I think that as time has gone on, like I feel like it's gotten so much easier, especially with like social media and the ability to like see that it is not just you, that it is a larger community and, media in general, TV, film. I mean, everything has everything now. Not to the extent it probably should have, but hi Chris, 32 and above. But like it has definitely changed, and I think that like me as a kid finding out, it did feel very much so like a let's not talk about it, let's like
Okay.
keep it private. But at the same time, it also felt very honest and real. I mean, following that, I ended up with a boyfriend, and I was like in a secret relationship with a boy for like a few months. And then after that, I dated his best friend who was a female. So it all was very confusing for a while. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
totally. Yeah, representation is everything, which is why these conversations are so important to, which I don't think were happening very often for me. Like there wasn't queer people I could look to and say like, oh, that reminds me of me. Like
yeah.
there was representation, but no one like, if you're a queer person in the arts and you're like, well, I feel like the arts is the easiest place to look for queer representation, but maybe not, you might not see yourself in every queer person. So that's why I really value
I
conversation.
agree. I totally agree. When I was in high school, there were three out gay males, and that was the only representation I had. And all of them were totally different than me. Like if I were to like identify them, it would be like a femme like gaga gaga boy, and then these like two like earthy like Williamsburg homos. Like they were so different. Like it wasn't really like what I was, so I didn't really know what the representation should look like. And then the representation I saw was like horribly like SVU, where I was like, oh, like that guy's Latin, he's gay. Oh, he's a prostitute.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what we do. Like it was a very weird for me in my growing up time. It was a very weird experience trying to figure out what you are in comparison to what the world shows you. And I still to this day don't really think that like I see myself as easily. I think there are versions of it, but I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like I'm a cisgendered male masculine gay man who has feminine energy and will throw on a stiletto and a men's suit. And I don't really see that in the way that I wish I could see it. But I guess also for me, and I hope for you too, it makes me feel like you have like a purpose to show that there is a version, and
totally.
whoever like feels kinship to that can like run towards it and feel good about it.
Absolutely. And that's like the bravery of feeling like you're the only one of your kind, I guess. Um, is being like, okay, this is so scary, but I need to be out and proud just in case there's somebody that needs that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
that's a
That's
beautiful thing.
that's why it's so wild watching like the youths, the youth, like the younger like generations. I have a cousin who's I think she's like 20, 21. No, she's not even 21 yet. She's 20, and they are fully like the version of the person they have become is in no way, shape, or form a version that could even exist in my time period. There was no version of that that existed. And the more and more loud they are, like the easier it is, and the more exciting it is to be able to be honest in yourself. And yeah, yeah,
Totally. Yeah. I have a sister who's gonna be here and came out to like, cool. In my,
I just oh god, there's a plane, so I can't hear. Everything just stopped.
no problem.
Sorry. I was
No?
like, what is this? Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Just I have a younger sister who's going to be turning 18 this year, and she was just like a lot of people in her grade are queer, and so me coming out wasn't like a huge thing to her because she was like it's very normal. And I do think like I really firmly believe, and there's evidence that non-binary folks have always existed, but I just think the lack of representation could really make you feel as if it's a new thing. And it definitely is new in the sense of this type of like mainstream, at least in my world. It's
Yeah,
so more mainstream now, which is awesome. But um, right when I was growing up, when you were growing up, what we saw was not that. Was not like mainstream. Wasn't definitely wasn't infographics about what how to use they them pronouns on Instagram. Like, it's so mainstream. There's like teachable content about it now.
yeah. I'm learning as I go. the more people that have come out to me, that doesn't even feel correct. The more people that have told me that their pronouns have changed, the more I've understood what that means. I will say there has been a conversation that I've been a part of with I have a lot of Black trans female friends, and it has been an issue for them because the description kind of blends some things for them. And there's been a conversation I'm literally on a constant learning process, and I am a gay man. That's why I
Like,
kind of give liberties to people. I'm like, at the end of the day, as long as you're walking into a room and being honest with the fact that you're attempting to learn and be open and honest with where you're going to fail, and it's not going to be, someone's going to look down upon you for it. Like, that is all that. Nothing that is met with it comes out as kindness should be responded to with malice at all. And the more and more that I've learned, the more and more I've been like, I mean, the world has opened. The things that are available are wildly different than what I thought. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, we say expect or assume best intentions and then tend to the impact. So if someone
Mm,
you, we tend to it, but
yeah.
assume the best. Especially in the spaces we have online, which are queer spaces. One time, someone's twin brother came and had to come out as straight, which was really funny. Um,
I mean, at some point, I honestly hope that that's the case. I hope that it becomes a thing that it's really just like you have to say it, because it should be more of a like, don't assume anything.
don't
Ask
assume.
the questions, and make sure that you're educated properly, and that you're respecting what someone's like truth is. Look, I hope we are running towards a version of the world where there is no version of that the pronoun conversation happens when the pronoun conversation is offered. Like, I'm going with he, him, or I'm going with she, they. Whatever version of that is, that it's only when it's offered or it's asked, rather than like just as like I have a friend who just had a baby, and she posted the baby and she sent a picture to me, and the note under it, and this is a cisgendered white woman who lives in Florida.
Wow.
He said, I he's such a he, she, they are such a cutie. I cannot wait for this little baby to break all the hearts, whether it's he, she, or they hearts. And I was like, I almost like bawled. I was like, oh, we're in a whole nother version now. Like, that
Right.
child in Florida is going to grow up in a whole nother way than I grew up, than you grew up, than anybody on this feed grows up. Like, what a
That's a
beautiful version of the world.
yeah. I saw a TikTok a while ago. That's like if we let young people decide and like we don't gender them or socialize them like with extreme gender norms. Like you turn 14 or 15, it's like, want to come to my gender reveal party?
Oh my God, that would be so. Oh my God, I would love that.
I know, it's like, what are you? A boy, a girl? It's like, well, you better come to my party and find out.
You're gonna
So,
find out today.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
imagine if we had the opportunity to like have that like choice. Like, I can't imagine what that would have been like and what the world would look like right now.
I
If there
know.
was a point where we could just be like, okay, like if it was like 13 years old, you're like, okay, this is my first attempt at deciding what my gender identity is, and
Yeah.
then taking it from there and seeing what happens.
And
Like,
it
what a different world.
happens a
What'd you
lot.
say?
It happens a lot earlier. Like
Oh,
about of like, I can't wait for this kid to break hearts. Like it's funny because I feel like there's such a trope of like saying like if like a little baby boy is like touching a woman's hair, it's like, oh, he's such a flirt, and it's like, ah, like why are we making
he
your baby
just is touching
also
her hair. Also, it's a
also
baby. Yeah,
also
it's
to
a
me
baby. That baby doesn't have any idea what the hell it's doing. It's
that
just
baby
touching.
still figuring out like hand-eye coordination, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't even know it's touching hair. It thinks it's spaghetti.
Yeah, it thinks it's spaghetti. Oh my God, depending on the hair, right? Um, where did you grow up? Where you like?
um, I grew up in Yonkers,
Okay,
Yonkers, New York, and then I moved. I guess a little not upstate, but a little upstate. I was from like 13 to 18, I was in Cortland Manor. You know Cortland Manor? It's like border of Peekskill, Yorktown area. My family's still there. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And then the city for a very long time.
Yeah. So what was that environment like, you know, coming out, but also coming out as an artist? Like I feel like that's a big part of your journey too.
Yeah. Coming out, it was honestly, it's a blur. I don't want to get into the specifics of it. It wasn't the most fun. There wasn't a lot of representation. My mom is a Cuban immigrant. The mentality, I mean, her journey is one of the most like, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. We are incredible. My parents and I are incredible. But it took time and it took a lot of just like figuring out what was happening. And I understand. And now as I've grown into an adult, I understand what was happening for them. As a kid, I did not. But as an artist, I mean, to be honest, it was more so I was coming out to myself than anyone else because everyone else kind of was just telling me this is what you do. Like I was always singing, I was always doing some sort of performing. And then eventually like I had to decide what to do in college and that was what made the most sense. Um, yeah, yeah. And also it doesn't hurt to be the only like one of the only boys that can sing in town. Like everyone's just pushing you. You're like, please sing more.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God, that like brings me back to a cappella auditions of like the one boy who walks in and auditions. It's like, wow, you have great pitch. You're in. You're in.
Yeah. You can
But you're
sort of sing
obviously,
on key. Hello.
yeah, totally. But you obviously like it wasn't just the fact that you were one of the only boys that could sing. You like have a gift and you really became an artist. And so for people, young people watching that are queer, maybe aren't or are questioning and want to do what you do, I guess what would you want to say to them?
First off, if you're going to do this, remind yourself that you're choosing to basically put yourself at the wolves every day as far as performing. And in that, what I want to say to you is be as honestly who you are as possible. Never walk into a room presenting as something that you're not. I did it. I still do it to this day. There's something that happens in my brain where I go, oh, they're not going to like me. They're going to like this idea.
Mm,
Just be yourself. And more so than that, like I have a few friends who are doing very well in the business, whether it be performing or acting or singing or whatever, and they have never come out. And they're like in their 30s, they have relationships and no one knows about them. And I chose a very different path. I've been basically out since it started. Like I've always been kind of like, this is who I am, plain and simple. And I'm going to be honest and say that it probably caused me some losses as far as career goes. But I think that's because there's people in my generation that did the thing that they did, which is chose not to be honest with who they are. So please be as honest as possible. Please be yourself, and please like don't be afraid to not to say you're not to say you're gay or to say you're straight. Honestly, any version of that, like if you're being your best version of yourself, not only you're helping yourself, not only you're furthering yourself as a person, but also you're helping people behind you and in front of you, and your art is better. Like some of those friends that are not out, like I don't believe them half the time. And I know it's because I know them and I know that that's not true. But I've also played a lot of straight people. I've also played people that are Italian. Like 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 I think I did it better because of the fact that like I also know that I am gay and I am open about it and no one has any questions about me on set or on stage or anything like that. Yeah, so that's my biggest one. Just be yourself.
and so it's kind of like you had to be a trailblazer with people to your left and right, people in your circle saying like, I'm actually not going to share this part of me. And you're like, well, it's out, so I'm going to be out.
Yeah, I just like I think I'm also like a defiant Aries, and that's part of my problem. Like I just like
Love
I
it.
I really like if you ain't gonna take me as I am, then what's the point? I'm not gonna fake it. Like my job is to be an actor. I don't want to act on my
Right.
personal life. Like what's the point of that? And at the end of the day, like you're walking into a casting office or an audition of some sort, and you're putting on a character. if you look through my resume, I've never been any of those people in real life. I've never been a sociopath who's choked someone to death. I have never,
Let's
you
hope
know, been a revolutionary. Like it's not one of those things. So like walk in as yourself and show the ability to be able to put something else on,
hmm
because that's the point of this art form. Like to be able to step into someone else's shoes and to be able to like feel what they feel in some way, shape, or form, and bring honesty to that. For
totally.
me, like that's all it's supposed to be. So
I
do
love
that.
I
Yeah.
love that. And so you have this like kind of list of roles that don't feel like you. I love the point that, the more yourself you are, the more able you are to pretend in that way, because then it's not like double whammy
Yeah.
pretending. Are there any roles that did feel particularly authentic that you played, like, or not really?
Look at my resume again. um, I the closest I will say is probably, and only because I did. Here's the thing. Number one, and I know you're gonna ask this question too, but no matter what, any role I play is some way, shape, or form a little bit gay. It just
Yeah.
is. I am like, for me, the way I approach this art form is I take what is truth for myself, and if you look at the list of roles I played, I am not. I've literally never choked someone and tried to kill them. Like it's just not on my person. But like I know what anger feels like, and I know what that could lead somewhere to. So therefore, like I understand. Like for me, I want to bring myself into a role while also bringing the other. It's a mold. So a writer creates something, and a director comes in and directs something, and I bring myself. I memorize the lines. I understand what the circumstances are, and I mold them as best as possible. The closest I would say, because my list of my roles are so, I play a lot of crazies. Is John Lawrence in Hamilton. Like John Lawrence, like when you break him down as a person, he was number one of the first things I learned about him was that possibly he was having a secret gay relationship with Alexander Hamilton.
Whoa.
So, and that was something that like I talked about with the associate director. I talked about with the people that were playing Hamilton, because there were so many different Hamiltons I worked with. And then I also like somewhere down the line, a descendant of John Lawrence came and basically affirmed it and said, yeah, these letters are real. Like the vocabulary is very bizarre. People didn't talk to each other like that if they were both male in that time. But I mean, you would never see it in the show. Maybe if you really watched just my performance and Alexander Hamilton's performance together, but we would look at each other. We'd have these moments, and we'd, either purposely create or not purposely create things that were honest for us in the time period, because also like there is an understanding that you can't in that time period, 1800s or 1781, when I don't know how this works. But like, there is an understanding that like you weren't allowed to. It wasn't something that was
Yes, of course.
comfortable. So we did find ways, like a hand that lingers a little longer, like a look across a room, these private moments that were made. And then besides the queerness of the character, he's also like, he doesn't stand for shit, and he's a badass, and he's going to defend anyone he has to if it's uh, because they deserve to be defended, and he wants them to succeed. Like that's me as a person. I'm the first person to call somebody to let them know that I am not auditioning for this thing, but they should. I'm the first person to like read a script and call all my friends, be like, hey, are you being seen for this? That's just who I am.
That's awesome.
And I feel like that's John Lawrence. That's my version of John Lawrence anyway. So
I love
that
it.
felt
I love
really
the subtle Hamilton vibes.
just a little, like more like a,
Or like oh, sorry, I don't know what happened there.
oh, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a good thing too, is bringing people up with you, because that's how we get more representation. Someone commented, is
Yeah.
it hard for Latinos to get into Broadway? And so I'm sure in bringing
Ooh,
up with you, you make it easier.
it is. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard. There's some I when you're Latino and you're in the Broadway community, you can't like when I first got okay, this is the best version of understanding what experience is. When I got to school, the head of my program asked me if I spoke Spanish, and I said no, because I could hang out. Like my mom would talk to me in Spanish and I respond in English, but I wasn't a fluent Spanish speaker, and she was like, you need to learn. I was like, okay, that's enough. Which is, I'll take that one. It's fine. And she's like, also, you need to learn the differences between accents because these are the roles you're going to play. You're going to be in West Side Story. You're going to be in the Heights, and you're going to be in some other horrible musical. And I was like, I love In the Heights. Don't play it. I love In the Heights. West Side Story, not so much, but that's because there's literally a song about how bad Puerto Rico is, and I'm Puerto Rican, so that's a challenge.
We don't love
Huh?
I said we don't love that.
We don't love that, and I'm very interested to see what they're doing with this new movie. I'm like, didn't we just like? Anyway, that's besides the point.
Anyway.
But being Latino and trying to be in the theater community, I mean, it's hard. I mean, the stories of like there are people as amazing as Lindsay Mendez, who people were telling her to change her last name. She's a Tony winner now. People were telling her to change her last name so she could have a career. And I don't walk into a room and you don't think I'm Latino. From the moment I walk in, you just know. You can't say I'm black, you can't say I'm white, you can't say I'm Italian. If I do my hair really slick, maybe, but like you're gonna know it. And I think that I have a hope and a prayer that theater is changing. But I got my Broadway debut in Hamilton, and that was the first show that really said, we're going to do away with all those norms. We're going to actually just do this musical in the way that needs to be told. So I have a lot of respect for it, and I hope that there are more musicals that do that. I don't see it, but I'm hopeful. And here's the thing I will also say. Don't stop knocking on that door, because I didn't. And the reason that there is a door even in existence is because other people didn't. So please keep knocking and please keep trying, because the more people that try and actually succeed, the more opportunities there are for the rest of us. Yeah.
Totally. This is like the ultimate Leo season conversation. It's like, don't take shit, get on the stage, do
but also
it,
kind of cry a little bit.
and here. We are towards the end, but I have one last
wow.
for you.
Okay.
I know, guys. Since we are the Future Perfect Project, what is your vision of a perfect future for yourself and for the world?
You know, when I read, so if you're watching this, the questions get sent prior to, so you know what the hell you're walking into. I didn't put it together, future perfect future. Didn't even, just no idea.
There you go.
I don't think there is a version of perfect that exists, because perfect in everyone's eyes is completely different. So as a world version of it, I can give you my version, which is we all literally kumbaya and we get to do what we want, and no one ever looks at us weird or makes us feel uncomfortable about it. And everyone's fed, and climate change is over, and there's no more military weapons. But that's a little heavy. But for me, if I have my personal version of what future is, me and my at the time future perfect husband, we'll get there. We need to get married fully. There's 2 kids. We have a house, and I work 9 months out of the year on things that I love, and then I'm off 3 months. And I am not only creating art personally, but also helping others create art, and bringing some truth to some things that probably don't have enough truth in them right now. Yeah.
I love that. I want to live there. I'm moving in. Just kidding.
Okay, great.
I love the idea of infusing truth, and you're doing it already, and Thanks. It was so beautiful to talk to you. This was so fun.
Likewise.
Yay. Well, I have everyone here. Just want to let you know, if you know a young queer person or just a young person who wants somewhere to be their full self and create and be their full self, we have free arts workshops, and this week we're doing an entire performing arts intensive. We have a Q&A with Frankie Grande. We have movement Bearing theater workshop with our co-founder Celeste Lacine. So stop by. It's free. All you have to do is DM us, email us, and I'm sure some
in New York or digital.
It's all digital, all virtual.
Oh my God! So anyone. That's everybody. Everyone, you heard that.
You heard that. Well, you do have to be a young person. It's like a 12 to 20 situation, but
okay. I think my following is literally just teenagers, which is wonderful. I'm really happy about it. But yeah.
So you heard it here first, teens. Have a beautiful evening. Thanks for making time again.
Me too.
I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, I would love to anytime.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.